Get ready to fall in love with a brand new story. So sit back and relax. The story begins at the bustling headquarters of the Shenju Group, situated in Xiang City. The protagonist, Lin, had worked tirelessly, but was abruptly fired by his boss. Filled with anger, Lin yelled at his boss, expressing his frustration. However, his boss revealed a cunning trick. He had tricked Lin into signing his own transfer document. Enraged, Lin attempted to retaliate, but his boss kicked him away, mocking him in the process. Just as Lin was contemplating his next move, the elevator door opened and everyone present bowed in respect. To Lin's surprise, it was Shen Mo, the daughter of the city's richest man. More astonishingly, she was Lin's ex-girlfriend. The boss, taken aback, realized he had made a grave mistake as Shen Mo promptly fired him instead. To everyone's shock, she revealed that Lin was her future husband and hugged him tightly. Lin's excitement grew as Shen Mo's unexpected revelation sank in, but it soon turned to confusion when she suddenly threw money in his face. Shen Mo disclosed that it was all an act and expressed her hatred for Lin, accusing him of past infidelity. Bewildered, Lin protested his innocence, but she remained resolute in her decision. Feeling betrayed, Lin left in a daze, questioning why all this was happening. When Lin reached his apartment, he encountered an unknown woman radiating with allure. She revealed herself as his lover from a previous life, leaving Lin skeptical of her claims. Assuming she was crazy, he attempted to slip away, but she swiftly halted him and passionately kissed him. In that moment, a bright light enveloped them and Lin's soul seemingly departed his body, leaving him astonished and questioning if he had entered the afterlife. To his surprise, Lin felt a strange sensation and an influx of unique knowledge flooded his mind, merging with his memory storage. Recollections from the lives of 99 individuals flooded his consciousness, overwhelming him. A month later, news of his supposed death spread and people mourned his loss. However, an unexpected turn of events occurred when a thunderbolt struck his coffin, causing it to shatter. Lin emerged unharmed, leaving everyone shocked and speechless. As people gasped in astonishment, Shen's father couldn't hide his delight. Sensing fatigue, he instructed a maid to guide Lin, who obediently followed. Shen gets really anxious. In a secluded room, Lin felt a surge of powerful energy coursing through his veins. He found himself able to discern the true thoughts and intentions of those around him with a single glance. The maids entered with trays of food, and Lin began devouring the dishes, prompting a maid's private thoughts to be revealed to him. Shocked, she stumbled backward, realizing her innermost secrets were exposed. Father entered the room accompanied by his master, who carefully studied Lin. Unable to resist his mischievous nature, Lin teased one of the maids with his newfound ability, leaving her flustered. The master, curious about Lin's extraordinary aura, took hold of his hand but was instantly shocked by its tremendous power. Startled, the master inquired about Lin's background, to which the father responded. Lin gets intrigued by the conversation, while the master informs his father-in-law that Lin doesn't even have the qualifications to practice most basic key refinement. Father's fury erupted and he lashed out, physically kicking Lin. Lin gets shocked while he threatens him. Undeterred, Lin stood his ground, his eyes ablaze as he realized Shen married him for his hygiene energy. As father inquired why he was such a waste, Lin couldn't help but brag about his transformation into a confident and successful individual, describing himself as a Chad. However, his words only served to annoy father, and his guards immediately surround the hero, ready to take action. Sensing the tension, Lin decided it was best to leave the situation and redirected his attention to finding Shen. He inquired about her whereabouts, hoping to discuss their predicament and seek her support. Determined, Lin resorted to his hypnotic abilities, targeting one of the maids and commanding her to call Shen. While waiting for Shen's arrival, Lin glared angrily at father, unable to contain his frustration any longer. He criticized father for manipulating and marrying his daughter as part of his own plan, blaming him for the chaos they found themselves in. Unexpectedly, father revealed that he had discovered the hero's immense energy and had actually intended to make him his son-in-law. This revelation shocked Lin, making him realize that he had missed an important piece of the puzzle. As the guards attempted to drag Lin away while father yelled at him, Lin couldn't help but wonder who had set him up. He attempted to summon a boxer's memory, hoping to gather clues, but to no avail. Just as Lin's frustration reached its peak, Shen suddenly appeared in the scene. Lin's excitement turned into shock when he realized that Shen completely ignored him, not acknowledging his presence at all. Father took advantage of the moment and commanded his guards to dispose of Lin. However, Shen intervened, surprising everyone by stating that the idiotic Lin was still her husband. Father tried to convince her otherwise, but Shen decided to keep Lin around, treating him like a dog. Lin's worry intensified while father was left speechless, unable to comprehend the situation. The scene transitioned to Shen's private area where she accused Lin of trying to provoke her. Despite his denial, Shen approached him with fury in her eyes, making him nervous about what was to come. She grabbed him forcefully and demanded to know what really happened on their wedding night, using her spiritual power to threaten him. Lin grew increasingly worried as Shen exerted her spiritual power, but he mustered the courage to reveal the truth. He explained that on their wedding night, a mysterious woman had appeared and injected an immense amount of aura into his body. Shen remained skeptical, doubting his words, but Lin pleaded with her, insisting that he was telling the truth. Suddenly, Shen's memory flashed back to an incident 3 years ago when she had caught Lin lying with 4 exotic women. She concluded that he was a cheater, drawing upon this past experience to support her belief. Lin vehemently refuted the accusation, but Shen dismissed his protests. In the midst of their argument, the maid appeared with a multitude of clothes, revealing that Lin was now responsible for handling all the housework. Shocked by this unexpected revelation, Lin reluctantly accepted his new responsibilities. Determined to prove himself, Lin confidently started washing the clothes, but his confidence quickly waned as a truck arrived, delivering even more piles of clothes. Overwhelmed, he couldn't help but feel the weight of his new burden. Later, as Lin prepared food, the maid mocked him, ridiculing his efforts. Fuming with anger, Lin struggled to maintain his composure. In the midst of his frustration, Lin overheard father yelling at Shen about their recent losses in the casino. Shen took responsibility for her mistakes and vowed to make amends, determined to find those who had deceived their family. Lin's ears perked up when he heard mention of counterfeit banknotes, triggering a memory from an expert in counterfeiting. Suddenly, Lin throws the clothes. At Shenji warehouse, Lin delves into the depths of the legendary dark web in search of a counterfeit banknote machine. After placing an order, he decides to change his appearance to suit his new illicit venture. Drawing upon the memory of a skilled makeup artist, Lin disguises himself completely. Later, Lin arrives at the factory to pick up his machine and discovers that it is indeed genuine. The seller, Yin, demands payment, but Lin only has a $100 note. Yin becomes agitated, but Lin surprises him by revealing that he produced the note himself. Intrigued, Yin carefully analyzes the counterfeit note and is shocked by its authenticity. Lin proudly brags about his skills and reveals his grand plan. To Lin's delight, Yin agrees to collaborate. Lin immediately starts working on producing counterfeit banknotes, and once he finishes, he wakes Yin up. Yin is astonished to find a large quantity of counterfeit banknotes. He carefully examines them and is astounded by their resemblance to real currency. Curiosity piqued, Yin inquires about Lin's true identity, but Lin insisted on being called Mr. Wei. Inside the counterfeit banknote group, the owner, Wu, is taken aback when he sees the incredibly realistic counterfeit notes. His assistant, Ming, reveals that a person named Mr. Wei created the notes using Yin's factory. Intrigued by the quality of the counterfeits, Wu instructs Ming to invite Mr. Wei to join their organization. However, Ming explains that he attempted to recruit Lin previously, but Lin boasted about his skills and refused. Wu blindfolds Lin and brings him to his factory, intending to keep its location a secret. Sensing an opportunity, Lin tries to deduce the factory's whereabouts by observing his surroundings. Realizing that it is actually a repair shop, Lin skillfully cuts open his rope, surprising Wu. Wu offers Lin a job, but Lin insists on becoming his partner instead. In a fit of anger, Wu grabs Lin's neck and threatens him. Unfazed, Lin calmly states that Wu is disregarding opportunity to fulfill his dreams. Intrigued, Wu listens as Lin activates his orator's memory, bragging about his exceptional skills. Lin boldly promises to make $100 million, and Wu's excitement is palpable. However, Lin's proposition takes an unexpected turn when he requests a 51% share in their criminal enterprise. Ming is shocked by the audacity of this demand, but Wu, intrigued by Lin's confidence, agrees, and they officially become partners in crime. Unknown to Wu, Lin has his own plans in motion far beyond what Wu could anticipate. Meanwhile, Shen is worried about raising $10 million within a short time. Suddenly, Jing appears, offering his assistance. However, Shen firmly refuses, prompting Jing to reveal that she is his crush. In a misguided attempt to manipulate Shen, Jing places his hand on her shoulder and suggests she divorce Lin. Lin becomes annoyed by Jing's actions and swiftly grabs his hand, while Lin delivers a powerful kick that sends Jing flying. Fuming with anger, Jing confronts Lin, but Lin mocks him without a hint of fear. Just as the tension escalates, Yin emerges with a suitcase, slamming it into Jing's face. Yin informs them that Mr. Wei has sent $10 million to Shen. Shen arrived at the Dorset Hotel the next day, following Yin's instructions to meet Mr. Wei. Jing, seething with anger, trailed behind her discreetly. Shen entered the room with curiosity, only to find Lin lying amidst 2 beautiful girls. Her agitation grew, but her attention was quickly diverted when Mr. Wei appeared on the television screen. In a moment of instinct, Shen tapped into her spiritual energy and realized that the person lying there was not Lin, but an imposter disguised as him. Mr. Wei explained the situation, and Shen immediately felt regret for her hasty judgment. Intrigued by the unfolding events, she inquired about Mr. Wei's relationship with Lin. Wei fabricated a story to appease Shen's emotions. As Shen grappled with her conflicting emotions, Jing suddenly appeared in the room. Wei revealed that Jing was the true culprit behind the scheme. Jing, feeling cornered, attempted to intimidate Wei, but Wei fearlessly exposed him. The two beautiful girls greeted Jing, causing him further confusion. They revealed that Jing was their VIP guest, further shattering his attempts to convince Shen of his innocence. Shen, hurt and disappointed, chose to ignore Jing's pleas. Meanwhile, Mr. Wei mysteriously disappeared, leaving Shen feeling nervous about facing Lin. Meanwhile, Lin accessed the memory of a lip-reading expert and overheard a worried maid begging for help regarding her brother's overwhelming debt. Deeply moved, Lin decided to assist her. Later, while Lin was engrossed in his work, Yin arrived. Lin instructed Yin to transfer money to an account under his name and requested his assistance for an important task. In due time, Lin found himself at the headquarters of the counterfeit banknote group, where Wu, the leader, commended him for fulfilling his promise. Wu offered Lin a drink to celebrate, but Lin detected that the drink had been tampered with. In a moment of defiance, Lin mocked Wu and threw the glass aside. To Lin's surprise, Wu and Ming acted astonished by his actions. However, Lin saw through their charade and called them out. The room suddenly filled with Wu's goons, and he unveiled his evil plan. Despite the tense situation, Lin remained calm, unafraid of Wu's claims of powerful security. In a shocking twist, Lin revealed that he was well aware of Wu's plan all along. As Wu grew increasingly nervous, the room was engulfed in a cloud of gas. Lin, wearing a protective mask, calmly remembered how he had instructed Yin to place an anesthetic bomb in the air conditioning system the previous day. With unwavering confidence, Lin made his way through the room, while Wu desperately boasted about his influential connections. In a swift move, Lin delivered a powerful kick to Wu's face, leaving him stunned and disoriented. Wu questioned Lin's intentions, to which Lin produced a lighter and set fire to the 100 million counterfeit notes. Wu was utterly shocked. With his message delivered, Lin exited the scene. Later, Yin dropped Lin off at Shen's residence. As Lin stepped out of the vehicle, the maid rushed towards him to inquire about Mr. Wei's whereabouts so she could express her gratitude. Suddenly, Yin addressed Lin as Mr. Wei, leaving the maid utterly shocked and confused. Lin lied to Yin, claiming that Yin had confused him with someone else. Yin, believing Lin's false explanation, acted accordingly. The maid, who had noticed Lin's sunglasses, assumed that Lin had planned to deceive Shen. Lin, seizing the opportunity, agreed with the maid's assumption and played along. Both the maid and Yin were left speechless by Lin's manipulation. The maid mocked Lin, sensing his ulterior motives, which annoyed him. In response, Lin decided to show her something that would prove his words. He led the maid to his car and revealed Wu and Ming chained up in the trunk. The maid was shocked by the sight, but refused to believe that Lin was telling the truth. However, Lin, growing increasingly frustrated, grabbed the maid as she attempted to inform Shen about everything that had transpired. With a firm grip on the maid, Lin instructed Yin to start taking photos as he kissed her. The maid was left in a state of shock, unable to comprehend the gravity of the situation. Lin then threatened her, further unsettling her already shaken demeanor. Meanwhile, Shen, a beautiful woman, anxiously waited for Lin in her bedroom, unaware of the disturbing events that had unfolded. The next morning, Shen woke up in a furious state upon seeing Lin. She immediately confronted him and demanded an explanation for his actions the previous night. In an attempt to gather information, she called the maid and inquired about Lin's whereabouts. The maid, still under Lin's influence, lied to Shen, claiming that Lin had been diligently doing housework. Shen, not entirely convinced, handed Lin her card and asked him to buy a birthday gift for her father. As the maid left the room, Lin followed her, appreciating her cooperation in covering up the truth. He stopped her and expressed his gratitude for lying on his behalf. Overwhelmed with emotions, the maid began to cry, but Lin managed to calm her down. He explained the circumstances behind his actions and reassured her that he had a plan. Realizing that they had started off on the wrong foot, the maid apologized for her earlier mockery. Lin accepted her apology and saw an opportunity to establish trust. He then inquired about Shen's father's interests, to which the maid revealed that he adored a popular actress named Cheng. Lin's soul stirred with memories of Cheng, as he had worked with her as a film director. Embarrassed by the connection, he grabbed the maid's hand and resolved to visit Cheng's house. Later at Cheng's mansion, Lin loaded a cultivator's memory and inquired about the maid's skills. She revealed she was on the third layer of core formation, as Shen was generous. Lin, as he opened the door using the password, noticed the maid's shocked expression. He then revealed that he had lived in the mansion before. As Lin loaded Director Zhang's memory, he discovered Zhang's love life with Cheng and how he was pushed off the roof by Jingming, who later claimed he had taken his own life. With this information in hand, Lin entered the mansion, piquing Cheng's curiosity. Lin chose to reveal his true identity as Zhang, causing Cheng to become furious and attack him. Luckily, the maid intervened and saved Lin from Cheng's attack. Lin then revealed their past love life and disclosed some of Cheng's private matters. This revelation caused Cheng to stop her attack, and Lin took the opportunity to explain the true situation. Cheng, overwhelmed with emotion, hugged Lin as he continued to explain that he had returned to avenge himself. Later, Lin decided to reveal his extraordinary powers to the maid, intriguing her curiosity. She pressed him for an explanation, prompting Lin to lay out his master plan. Although initially annoyed, the maid eventually agreed to assist him, on the condition that she could accompany him during his endeavors. Lin, recognizing the value of her support, accepted her offer and formed a unique partnership. Meanwhile, Jing interrupted an important meeting involving his father, much to the latter's annoyance. Trying to manage the situation, his father handed Jing a card and made a promise to a girl that he would locate Mr. Wei. Smirking with confidence, Jing casually mentioned that he knew Mr. Wei. The girl then commanded Jing to assist her immediately. Nervously, Jing revealed that he only knew the location of his best friend, who happened to be Lin. Jing smirked as he revealed this information to the girl. Later, the maid inquired about the gift Lin had bought. Lin hesitated for a moment but then refused, which left her disappointed. As she stood there, she recalled how Shen had taken care of Lin when he was in a coma. Feeling guilty for his initial reaction, Lin reassured the maid. The next day, Shen's brother, Mo, came to visit their father and brought birthday gifts for him. Lin couldn't help but mockingly comment on the gifts, provoking Mo's annoyance. Annoyed by Lin's behavior, Mo challenged him. "If you're so confident, why don't you prove the authenticity of these gifts yourself?" Determined to expose Mo's gifts, Lin took one of the sculptures and began to carve it. To everyone's surprise, as he worked on it, the sculpture revealed itself to be an inflatable doll. Mo's face turned red with anger, but before he could retaliate, their father intervened, putting a halt to the escalating tension. Their father disclosed that the Jing family had capitalized on the rising success of a star named Cheng. He expressed his desire to have someone persuade Cheng to join their group. Although everyone thought it was an impossible task, Lin boldly claimed that Shen could handle it with just one phone call. Everyone thought Lin was simply showing off. So intrigued by Lin's claim, Mo challenged him to prove his words by calling Cheng right then and there. If Lin succeeded, Mo promised to kneel down and apologize. Without hesitation, Lin dialed Cheng's number. Mo remained skeptical, arguing that Cheng was currently engaged in a live selling event, making it highly unlikely for her to answer the call. To everyone's surprise, Cheng did pick up the call. Shen, taking the opportunity, offered her the chance to join their group. Cheng, taken aback by the unexpected proposition, accepted the offer. The room filled with a mix of astonishment and disbelief. Mo, now trembling with a mix of shock and awe, realized the power Lin possessed. As promised, their father commanded Mo to kneel. Once Mo complied, their father made Shen the chairman of Stentertainment. Later, as Lin was engrossed in his tasks, a young girl peered curiously at him. She seemed surprised by the presence of numerous souls surrounding Lin. Intrigued, she contemplated making her move when a ghost suddenly appeared, interrupting her thoughts. The girl grew nervous as the ghost revealed a shocking truth. Lin was the reincarnation of her long-lost lover, and only she possessed the power to end his life. The ghost, known as the Aura, confessed that her original intention was to use her powers to restore Lin's lost memories. Unfortunately, Lin's fragile state prevented her from doing so effectively. Suddenly, the ghost teleported away, but the determined girl retaliated swiftly with her sword, refusing to let her escape. In the midst of the chaos, Shen arrived and expressed her admiration for Lin. However, Lin decided to reveal the truth and informed Shen that Mr. Wei was responsible for his current predicament. Shen was taken aback by this revelation and demanded an explanation from Lin. Caught off guard, Lin lied, claiming that Mr. Wei was merely a long-lost friend. Shen, who had faith in Lin's abilities, reassured him and expressed her belief in his potential to manage Stentertainment. Overwhelmed by the situation, Lin became nervous, contemplating the idea of inheriting the Shen family fortune in the future. Meanwhile, the girl acknowledged her defeat against the ghost and accepted the ghost's orders to stop attempting to harm Lin. Just as things started to settle, Lin and Shen noticed the girl approaching them. She confronted Lin and proclaimed herself as his sister. Whispering in his ear, she revealed that she knew his true identity as Mr. Wei. Caught off guard once again, Lin played along, and they quickly decided to leave the area. Shen became increasingly curious about the unfolding events. Later, the girl introduced herself as Ryoko and explained that a white-haired ghost had intercepted her attempt to hurt Lin. Intrigued by her story, Lin began to inquire further, but Ryoko abruptly smacked him hard and insisted on investigating his powers. Feeling nervous and compelled, Lin agreed to comply with her demands. However, Lin quickly devised a plan and offered Ryoko some fruits. As she consumed the fruits, Lin smirked, hinting that he had something up his sleeve. But Ryoko caught on to his scheme just as Lin initiated the integration of Sportsmaster's memory. Mocking him, Ryoko resisted the effects, but Lin managed to force the fruit into her mouth. Growing increasingly agitated, Ryoko found herself struggling against Lin's control as he merged with her body using his powers. Despite her efforts, she was unable to tap into her spiritual power. Frustrated, she found herself confronted by Lin, who proposed a deal that piqued her curiosity. Lin offered her the antidote in exchange for becoming his bodyguard. Initially, she refused, mocking Lin's proposition. However, her skepticism waned when Lin demonstrated his powers, surprising her. Intrigued, she decided to reconsider, and Lin handed her a pill. Although she found it suspicious, she reluctantly swallowed it. Lin jokingly claimed it was a love pill, irritating her in the process. Later, at the Shen Group, Director Roach announced the destruction of all internal information pertaining to entertainment. Most smirked at the news. Meanwhile, at Cheng House, Ming slapped Cheng for terminating the contract. Cheng revealed that Mr. Wei had forced her, prompting Cheng to call his goons and put a $1 billion bounty on Wei. Cheng smirked as the plan took shape. The following morning, Cheng met Lin at a hotel. He inquired about the reason for their meeting, and she responded by hugging him, causing him to feel nervous. However, she decided to treat him as if they were in love. Finally, Lin asked her the purpose of their encounter. Cheng revealed the bounty, and Lin became excited. Overwhelmed with emotion, she disclosed how Ming had slapped her, and Lin comforted her. Cheng then suggested that Lin simply hurt Ming and assured him that she would help make Ming vulnerable so that he could strike. Unexpectedly, Lin pushed her away, leaving her shocked. He revealed that he knew how she had seduced Ming and manipulated him into staging a fake suicide for Zhang, all in pursuit of success. Accusing her of resorting to the same deceitful tactics, Lin remained composed while Cheng grew enraged and charged at him. Unfazed, Lin calmly revealed that Ryoko had emerged from a cabinet and delivered a powerful kick to Cheng. Realizing Lin's elaborate plan, Cheng listened as he instructed her to inform Ming about Mr. Wei's true identity and his intentions. Intrigued by this revelation, Cheng complied, and Lin unveiled that Mr. Wei was none other than Mo. Later, the employees were in awe as Shen entered the office, her beauty captivating everyone. Director Roach greeted her with an evil smile while Shen asked for the accounts she needed. He handed them over, but in a sly tone he mentioned that Mo had plans to crush her triumph. As Shen examined the accounts, she realized they were phony, designed to turn her into a CEO in name only. Just then, her phone rang and it was Mr. Wei on the line. Intrigued by his knowledge of the fake accounts, Wei revealed that he invaded the group's database, and with it she can once again control everything. She asked him about his intentions, but he abruptly ended the call, leaving her curious. Later, Roach mocked Shen for her supposed incompetence. Fuming with anger, she summoned him to her office urgently, but he stubbornly refused. Determined to expose his account misappropriation, she gathered the evidence and confronted him directly. Roach grew nervous as Shen revealed his wrongdoings, and in a desperate act of submission, he knelt before her, begging for forgiveness. Shen saw an opportunity and commanded him to spy on Mo for her. Meanwhile, Mo contacted Cheng and requested a private meeting. Cheng agreed to meet him alone. Shen then informed Ming about the meeting. Then she strategically dropped a piece of clothing, instructing Ming to go to the Dorset Hotel, enticing him with the promise of her seductive presence. The next day, Cheng greeted Mo, who couldn't help but be excited by Shen's alluring figure. Cheng playfully inquired if Mo was scared of Shen, but Mo remained transfixed by her beauty. Shen handed Mo a uniform, intended for their planned operation, but Mo mistakenly believed it was meant for seduction. While Shen went to change her clothes, Mo, unable to contain his excitement, grabbed her hand, suggesting they change together. Shen politely declined and proceeded alone. Outside, a group of goons approached Cheng, inquiring about Wei's whereabouts. Cheng confirmed that Wei was inside. Back inside the room, Mo eagerly put on the costume, ready for what he believed would be a seductive encounter. However, just as he was getting prepared, a pair of special glasses appeared before his eyes, obstructing his vision. Before he could react, a door slammed shut, and Ming entered with his goons, grabbing Mo. Confused and unable to speak, Mo found himself at the mercy of Ming, who mistook him for Mr. Wei. Lin, observing the scene with a microphone in hand, gleefully watched as Ming was provoked into teaching Mo a harsh lesson. Lin's excitement grew as the goons mercilessly beat Mo, all captured on camera. As the goons continued to beat Mo, he mustered the strength to try and stop them. Surprisingly, they halted their hurt, and Ming called for a moment to talk. Mo attempted to nod in agreement, but Lin, always one to provoke, goaded Ming further. Ming's rage intensified, causing fear to grip Mo. Just as tensions reached a breaking point, a door slammed open, catching everyone's attention. A warrior named Sima entered the scene, questioning Ming's intentions to attack Master Mo. Ming, taken aback, explained that it was the same suit Mr. Wei had worn. Sima forcefully tore open the suit, revealing its true nature, and Ming's nervousness grew as he realized he had been deceived by the real Mr. Wei. Sima's keen eye caught sight of a concealed microphone, confirming that Wei must be nearby. In a sudden display of his formidable spiritual arts, Sima unleashed his power, leaving Ming awestruck by the might of Mo's family. Sima utilized his abilities to track down Wei, intensifying the worry in Lin's heart, while the maid grew increasingly nervous. Faced with imminent danger, Lin made a quick decision to utilize a magician's memory and create an illusion. However, before he could enact his plan, the maid unexpectedly intervened, hurtling Lin onto the bed. Lin was bewildered by her actions but became utterly shocked as she began to remove her clothes. He realized it was not part of the illusion, but a genuine act. As Sima's spiritual essence infiltrated their room, he discovered Lin and the maid engaged in an intimate moment. The maid kisses Lin hard to distract Sima. Sima smirked, realizing he had stumbled upon a weakness belonging to Shen. Later, Lin sought out Mo and was questioned about his whereabouts the previous day. Lin feigned innocence, claiming he had been occupied with housework. Mo's laughter resounded through the room, exposing Lin's lie. To retaliate, Lin played a video, revealing Mo's affair to the world. Mo's laughter died down as a sharp pain coursed through his waist. Taking advantage of Lin's compromised position, Mo demanded that Lin spy on Shen for him. The gravity of the situation left Lin visibly worried, prompting Mo to emphasize the severity of the consequences should Lin fail to comply. Reluctantly, Lin agreed to his demands and left. Meanwhile, Sima disclosed that the Jing family had offered their apologies and joined forces with them to confront Shen. Mo's lips curled into a sinister smile. Later, the maid, filled with joy, reached out for Lin's hand. In a moment of embarrassment, she abruptly withdrew, recalling their recent romance. Lin reassured her, conveying his affectionate understanding. Subsequently, Lin contemplated minimizing his public appearances, but the maid disagreed, believing it would be a waste of his abilities. Inspired by the conversation, Lin devised a plan to write special novels that would not only amass wealth but also contain some of the most advanced knowledge in the world. By attracting the attention of top scholars, Lin hoped to establish his reputation. The maid found the idea intriguing, and together they decided to name the novel The Path of Conquering the World. That wraps up this part, but there's more to come. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next exciting chapter.